Welcome back to the Your Health Radio and Television program hosted by the Monterey County Health Department. I'm Emily Sciolto, your host today and just about every third Monday of each month. The focus of today's program is our environment, as Earth Day 2011 is this coming Friday, April 22nd. My next guest, Ms. Jenilee Napalan, Senior Environmental Health Specialist from the Monterey County Health Department Environmental Health Division. Hey there, Jenilee. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Before we get into things too much, can you just tell us briefly what the Environmental Health Division of the Health Department does and maybe what you do for it?
Well, the Environmental Health Division is broken up into several other sections, and I'm with the Recycling and Resource Recovery Services, and basically we implement recycling programs throughout the county, and we do a lot of promotion and outreach to educate our residents on recycling and waste reduction and protecting the environment in that sense.
Okay, great. So exactly what you're doing here today with us.
Yes.
So let's talk about the MultiFamily Recycling Project. What is it, and what do you want to tell us about it? Okay,
well, like I said, one of the programs we do, is to promote recycling, and one of them is the MultiFamily Recycling Project, and that's actually a regional project between San Benito, Santa Cruz, and Monterey counties, and over 20 agencies that are involved in this project, including the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority, who Jenny was just on, and in 2008 we received a grant from the Department of Recycling, Resources, and Recovery, and we were awarded a little over $4.2 million to implement this recycling program to multifamily dwellings throughout the county, or throughout the Tri-County area. And it's basically to provide our free technical assistance, recycling infrastructure, and promotion and outreach to these residents to basically tell them, that they need to recycle and how to do that.
Okay, and so why are you targeting multifamily facilities, excuse me?
Well, we put together a list of about 100 target facilities throughout the Tri-County area, and we found that only one out of those 100 facilities actually had recycling service. So, and who knows if it was even being used properly. So, so that was one of the main reasons, is that you're getting much less than 1% recycling rate. And we also performed a waste characterization study where we took about 1 ton, or a little over 1 ton of garbage from a route of multifamily facilities, and we physically sorted through the material to find out what materials were being put in the garbage, and we separated that material out and see, what are they throwing away? What are these complexes throwing away? And Jenny mentioned a lot of the materials that are recyclable, and a lot of that material was found in the garbage. And through that waste sort, I think it was about 20% of recyclable material was in that 2 tons of waste.
Wow.
So yeah, we don't mess around. We get down and dirty in there. We had Tyvek suits on and everything, just sorting through the garbage, and it was definitely an interesting experience. But it helped us see, what that's the only way you really know how to educate people, is to see what are they throwing away. That way you can really target the materials that, they need more education on plastic bags recycling, paper, plastic, glass, or any of those materials. So that's why we targeted multifamily facilities, just because there's such a low recycling rate with them, and they really need the education. So.
Wow, that's great. It sounds like it's been a very deliberate, not so clean process, but you guys really have done the work necessary to figure out exactly, to get to know your target audience, or your target population. So just to back up for just 1 second, Jenny mentioned that multifamily facilities are businesses, first and foremost. And so there we have a little bit of a disconnect between folks that may live there and that may live in a neighborhood that is supported by local recycling resources, where they get the bin and they get the service once a week to come pick it up.
Right.
So not every multifamily facility, as I'm hearing, really is equipped with the proper disposal mechanisms in place. So this is really something that you have to sell the owners of these. Okay, so So really, and you're targeting the owners of the multifamily facilities as well as the residents.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way we really get in. As far as even starting the multifamily project, we have a list of that we compiled from our haulers as far as how many facilities out there are multifamily facilities, and we get that list. And usually the property owner or the landlord's phone number is on there, and then we basically give them a cold call and sell the program to them. We're not just recyclers, we're salespeople too. We have to sell our programs, so we really have to convince them as far as why it's important. And once we get the buy-in from the property manager or owner, we do work with housing authorities also, so they manage these facilities as well, so we definitely get the buy-in from them. So it's been easy to work with housing authorities in Chispa. And so getting property owners is definitely the first step, getting them involved and enthused about it and willing to do it. And so after we speak to the property owners, it's basically we set up an appointment with them to do more of a focused waste assessment with them rather than what I described earlier with our waste sort. We do a more focused waste assessment with each facility to specifically see what are there any specific problems at a site. We've come across facilities that are illegally dumped on. Their neighbors will come over and throw away their garbage in there. So we have ways to alleviate those problems. We have what we call igloo lids that cover the dumpster so that only a certain amount of materials can go in at once, and sometimes there are lock lids, so the dumpsters are only open certain hours of the day, so people aren't illegally dumping. So we work individually with each facility for their specific needs, or if a lot of residents don't understand that like hazardous materials can't be thrown away in the garbage, then we help them understand that and educate the residents with specific problems that they might have as far as illegal dumping or improper waste going in. And so after we do perform the waste assessment, we suggest a recycling service level to the property owner so that we can communicate that we work with the property owner or manager and the waste hauler in order to provide the right service level for recycling. And so once we get the recycling service in place, then that's the time that we provide some outreach to the residents and things. So we do kickoff events to to educate the residents. So.
Okay, wow. So it sounds like there's again very deliberate way to go about making sure that certain multifamily facilities have these services available to them, and also too, I like how you really kind of diagnose each facility with its own set of issues after the assessments that you've done. That's amazing. And so you make sure that everyone is on board, the recycling hauler, obviously, the health department and other agencies that are supportive of this effort, and you make sure that the property owner and manager are on board, and then you prescribe essentially something, a plan that's going to work for them, and then you start with the residents. Then you tell them, do you go door to door? How do you get to them?
We go about it different ways. Once the new recycling dumpster is in place, we try to aim a day before or on the day of that the new recycling bin is received. But we do set up different ways of doing these kickoff events. And so one of them is a door-to-door campaign, which will literally, no matter how big the facility is, will knock on each door and just basically tell them that this new recycling service is available, and we tell them what kind of materials go in it, and then Jenny went over the long list of materials that are available to do that. And we don't always do the door-to-door campaigns. We really work with the manager. They know what's best for their residents, what kind of event. Would a door-to-door campaign be more effective, or we also do community meetings, which is like a classroom setup where everybody comes at a certain time, and we do give them a few days notice. We put little door hangers on everybody's door a few days before each event to let them know that we're coming. And so we have the community meetings classroom setup, and we all sometimes if the facility is suitable for it, we even do little fiestas or parties to get everybody involved. It'll be a more social event. So during these events, we provide them with recycling bins for inside their home, and I brought some samples in, and then I guess for our radio listeners, we have one that's more of a regular trash can shaped, it's about knee height. Just about, I'm 5'2", so my knee height. And so, it has labeling on it. It's a bright blue bin, and there's labeling on it that has a lot of pictures on what kind of materials are recyclable. And the other side has the recycling symbol with the chasing arrows. So you put this either under your sink or next to your trash can. It's definitely ideal to put it next to your trash can, so you don't have to walk too far to place something in the recycling bin and something in the trash bin. It's just right next to each other. And then we also have a basket style one that has a handle on it, and that just provides for easier transport from inside your home to the dumpster, the combined dumpster. And again, it has the same symbols on it, same labeling. We try to make the messaging consistent throughout with all of our materials, so that the message remains the same throughout the. It's not even just our county, it's in all 3 counties. So if they're visiting a friend at, another apartment complex in Santa Cruz, then they can see that they also have the same program available. And we also have a tote bag style that, for smaller apartments, if they don't have room for the more rigid items like the other bins that I showed earlier, these could easily fit anywhere that doesn't, if they don't have too much room, you can even hang it on your door. So on your way out, you can empty your recycling bag to the dumpster. So we provide these for free to each resident, or a combination, whatever suits the apartment. It's really, we try to customize our materials to the apartments as well. So whatever the property manager thinks would be most suitable for each home, then that would be what we would provide, or sometimes even all 3. And this doubles as your reusable shopping bag too. So
I was just gonna say that one takes care of that. So great, there's definitely a need for these things, and I like it how you kind of give everyone the tools and as much support as they need. It sounds like you're very supportive in the agencies that collaborate with the health department in doing this throughout Monterey and San Benito and Santa Cruz counties. It's not just a mandate and then that's it. You give them the things that they need to implement this. So since you have been doing this, what kind of results have you seen in implementing recycling programs at multifamily facilities?
Well, our agency works specifically with the unincorporated unincorporated areas of the county, so like Prunedale, Castroville, Carmel Valley. And so we've implemented this program at a little over 30 facilities, and combined their baselines show that they were recycling about 58 tons per week, which is good. It was an 11% of their total waste that was going to be recycled versus straight to the landfill. But after we implemented this program at the facilities, we showed that it went from 58 tons to over 130 tons, so it more than doubled the recycling rate from when they first started the program. So it's definitely seeing the increase in recycling, and then you don't have that much garbage going straight to the landfill. And with that, the less that you're throwing away, the less you're spending on your trash service. So your trash service is based on the size. So once you're seeing that most of your waste is shifting to the recycling bin, in most areas, recycling is either free or at a much reduced cost from trash service. So once the apartment or the manager notices that they don't need this size dumpster anymore, they can go with half the size, and that's not necessarily half the cost, but it's definitely a much more reduced cost. So they're saving money, and in some areas or in some facilities, they were able to transfer that savings to their residents too. So then their rent was lowered. So so that's definitely one of the best results that you can have, is savings in money too.
So how, and this is sort of in line with what you said earlier, so you received a grant. How long is the grant for, and where are we in that period?
It actually, I said we got the first one in 2008, and it's actually ending this year, so in June. But we did purchase all the necessary equipment to last us, not forever, but a pretty long time to last us beyond the grant. So
okay, great. So it's not going to go away.
It's not going to go away. We have all the infrastructure, you know, we're still here, and so we'll still be able to go out and provide the free assistance. It's just, you know, just the first couple of years is when we were able to purchase the materials, but we definitely purchased enough materials to last us for a while to implement it at. We mapped it out to outfit pretty much all of our multifamily facilities. So
great. So so we can keep expecting or keep seeing this progress.
Exactly.
To continue. So we have time for about, I think, one more question.
Okay.
So if someone was interested in participating in this, how would they get involved?
Well, I would say first to contact their landlord or property manager. Ask them first if they're willing to, you know, contact their garbage hauler to implement a recycling program, or to first get a recycling dumpster, and then you know, you, like I said earlier, you have to get the buy-in from the landlord. And if not, then they can contact either the resident can contact their hauler, or our agency, or their local solid waste and recycling agency to get more information about the multifamily recycling program. So
great. Thank you so much. Thank you again for talking with us today. You've shared some really insightful information about these multifamily residential recycling programs, or the program that is the Tri-County program that you're mentioning. So for our viewers and listeners, if you would like more information from the Monterey County Environmental Health Division, visit them online at www.mtyhd.org. That's www.mtyhd.org. Right now, we're going to take a short break, but don't go away. We'll be back in just a moment with more Your Health Radio and Television program.